back to Tiempo. President Obama's executive action on immigration policy that would have granted protective status to approximately 5 million undocumented immigrants in limbo. Recently, the U.S. Supreme Court turned down a request by the administration to rehear the case. We've been discussing that this morning with Chris Cabanillas, an immigration attorney, and Mayra Aldas-Deckert from the New York Immigration Coalition. I want to do a quick sort of foundation basis. The Texas case, if I understand it correctly, the judge there ruled, along with 26 states who had put in a petition, that the president had exceeded his authority, correct?
That's correct.
And in that decision, it put, what, a squash on the whole program nationwide?
Well, what he did was, he put an injunction.
An injunction.
Say stop nationwide.
Stop nationwide.
Yeah.
So that stops everything in its tracks. But now you're telling me that there's a judge here in New York that has looked at that decision saying, all right, how can a Texas judge issue a nationwide injunction, especially for people impacted in my district?
That's right. That's going to affect somebody here in New York. How is that fair? How is that justice? Where's terms?
So where does the status of that case stand right now?
Well, it's being, a decision hasn't come out yet, but all of his rhetoric and the questions that he's asking seem to lean towards him coming out with a decision that's going to say, that doesn't apply. Basically, an injunction on the injunction.
Which would open the door to what?
It would open the door to certainly an appeal to the Second Circuit, which is our, in the New York area, the federal circuit here, the appellate court here.
Right.
And then another fight between two circuits. Whenever there's two circuits that have, a different interpretation of something's got to go back to the Supreme Court, which would likely be next year, and hopefully there will be that ninth justice there to make the winning decision.
If this judge in New York would have decided the favor that you like, how many families, how many people are impacted here? Roughly.
For the expanded DACA, almost 40,000 and almost over 200,000 for DAPA. They will be protected under the new.
If it were to go through. The big challenge here for so many people is the application fee and the cost, is it not?
Correct. Yes. It's a very expensive cost. I mean, for DACA, it's $465. We're talking about, young people that perhaps are working 2-3 jobs to pay for this. And on top of that, we see that they have to pay the fees for the lawyers. So it's very expensive, a very expensive process that they have to go through.
We should remind people, DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival. So these are kids who are the children, correct? They're legal residents here.
They were brought to the country as young children, and now they are in between 15 and 30 something.
And so much is at stake for them with this in terms of what? Education, job permits, correct?
A working permit. You can't do anything without a working permit. Nobody will hire you.
Yes.
And Social Security, potential driver's license, health benefits.
How has this decision changed the Immigration Coalition's approach, fight, advocacy? Are there more rallies? Are there more demonstrations? I mean, what can be done to sort of A, keep this in the public eye, and B, reach a decision that favors the people you serve?
Yes, we are continuing the fight. We will, the next president has to hear us and has to do something for our community and hear our needs. We're here working, paying taxes. We're gonna hold the next president accountable. Comes January 20th, we will see who our next president is, and push for comprehensive immigration reform.
Do you think it'll be high up on the radar of whoever the new president might be to act on this quickly, because lives are in the balance?
Definitely. I think if it's Hillary Clinton, I think certainly she's going to want to take some action.
And because President Obama had promised immigration reform on more than one occasion, I know the coalition and many advocacy groups felt let down by the fact that it never got through. The same question to you. I mean, there's a lot of things that the new president is going to be focused on. How concerned are you that immigration reform won't be high up on that list, that it'll be down here a little further?
It's our national partners are fighting with us. We have partners throughout the country that will be there as soon as the next president comes into office, we will be there, and we will push for it.
Okay. Final word for you. Keep us posted on this potential decision. How soon could it happen for the New York district judge here?
I think in the next few months we should hear something.
You should hear something.
Yeah.
You got my number.
Yeah.
You'll let me know.
Let us all know.
Yes, let us all know, both of you. I assume you'll be on top of it just as much. So thank you guys very much for the education, as always.
Thank you, Joe.
Coming up next on Tiempo, the Job Corps, free, federally funded program that provides job training, education, trade skills. They want to get more Latinos involved, and we'll tell you why that should happen when we come back on Tiempo.